Hello, nice to see you tonight. As you've probably heard, I'm Dhillon Welsh, and I'm here today to speak to you about after the idea. What happens once you have an idea? How do you turn it into an action? So, for today, first I'll go through the process of how you turn an idea into something, an action, maybe a presentation, a story, an artwork, all sorts of things. That's what an idea is. And then after that, I'll tell you about two of my own ideas that I took action and created. And at the end, I'll have time to actually take your ideas and show you the process of what you would do to create an action. So I want you, the whole presentation, to be thinking about what idea, and at the end I'll call on you. Okay? So, first of all, how does an idea work? Well, the first thing you have to do is come up with an idea. As I said, it can be a lot of things. Drawing, stories, even TED presentation like this. Big events. But then, there's something else. You need to research. And there's different parts of researching. The first part of a research you need to do when you find an idea is look for if it has been done before. When you do this, you'll usually come up with 3 results. The first is that your idea is completely original. Nobody has ever done it before. It's yours for the taking. The second is that your idea has been done before, but you can always change it. You can make it better. Just because somebody's completed something before doesn't mean that you can't add on and create something even cooler. The third is that they've added all the details and extra stuff and you can't really change it. So that is your research. If once you get a firm ground on if you're going to continue with the idea or not, you have to move on to details. You got to get structure for the idea. It's like building a skyscraper. You need the bottom floor or else all the top floors will fall down. Think of that. If you don't have the bottom floor, what's the point? So you really got to get a firm basis there and pretty much get all the details you can about the information you're going to need, the different tools. And then comes a very important step, support. I think that throughout ideas, you always need people to help you. As we saw in that video right there, do you think she could have done it alone? She needed the support of those children. So that's a really important part of an idea. You need support from your parents, your colleagues, fellow students, peers, doesn't matter. And support can come in many different ways. They can encourage you, maybe add on, or they could directly help you to complete your project. So that support is really important. Now the next part is probably my absolute favorite part of an idea. It's designing. Now I'm going to take a picture here. Imagine the picture back there, the magazine. Everybody see it? So, at the beginning, that picture was probably just a basic sketch of a head, maybe the shoulders. But they added detail. They took all those magazine clippings, and now look at it. It's bright, it's colorful. That's what you gotta do when you design. You take the bottom layer that you created, and you add all those extra pretty details. It's like having the basis of a rainbow in a coloring book, and then coloring it in. So, the next part of an idea is creating a schedule. Now, a schedule is really, really important. It tells people when you need stuff done. It even helps you, because if you never have a schedule, you're not going to be able to complete an idea on time. So, always remember to schedule. And you have to always have a date of completion. That's a really important part. You can schedule as many dates that you need to do stuff over and over again as you want, but as you'll see later in one of my presentations I did, you can't have a non-finished part. Now the last part of my idea is just taking this all up and doing it. It's pretty simple. If you completed all those steps, you don't need anything more. You just go and you have to have the effort and the amount of strength to do that. But it takes some big skills like confidence to go out and complete your idea. Throughout this, you should always pay attention to feedback or reflection, as you said earlier, right? Yeah, I know. Not always the best, or it's kind of boring, but it's really important. Remember when I was telling you about how some ideas, they just can't be modified? If you want your idea to be completely original, like that, nobody can really add on, you should get feedback. The feedback can help you to improve. Okay, so that's the evolution of an idea. Now, the first thing I'm going to talk to you about is in the subject of music. So, earlier this year, I wanted to create a band. Previously, in 2nd through 5th grade, I had one, so I pretty much had the research out of the way. I knew how to play the different instruments, get people together, but I didn't have support. I couldn't figure out who could play an instrument or not, so I wanted to join the BIS Blues Band at our school. However, when I went to interview with Mr. Best and look into joining the band, he told me that there weren't many spots open. I told him about the idea of creating a band, and he really liked it. We created the BIS Blues Band Junior for those who are newer to playing the instruments. So what happened was we took a schedule. We had a certain practice time every week, but we forgot a major detail. We didn't have a due date, no completed project. So for the first month or two, people would come, 3 weeks, and then they would just leave. Because what's the point of doing something if there's going to be no outcome? So, finally, after winter break, people had pretty much all stopped coming except for 4 of us. We created a better schedule, and we wanted to play in the BIS Variety Show. So that was what we'd been looking for, something to complete. And then we just went ahead, pressed the execute button, go. We practiced a lot, and when the time came to audition, even though we had 2 instrumentalists join us on the last day, the first time we all practiced together was the audition. We had practiced, we followed that schedule, we'd stuck with it, and we made it. We played at the talent show, and lots of people liked it. We got good feedback from the teachers and our students and friends. So that is a little bit about music. But here's my next idea. I think you'll find this one a bit more interesting. So, 2 years ago, I was moving to Germany, and I thought of this idea of creating a link between my school in Columbus, Ohio, Heritage, and BIS, which was going to be my new school. I didn't know much about it, but I wanted to create a way to kind of communicate. So, first thing I thought about was a blog. It's pretty easy, but then I ran into some privacy issues. When I looked into it, when I was doing the research, I found that the school district wouldn't allow for it because of some identity things that they keep really strict. So, I thought I needed another person. I got support from my English teacher, Miss McKee, and together we thought of a new idea. We came up with the idea of using a technology that was invented, Skype, to do it for us instead of creating a blog. So, we did a little bit more research on the software, we got our tech teacher in, and we got more and more support. A lot of teachers were interested in it. Again, we couldn't have done it without that support. Then, we got a design. We kind of figured out what we would do, the different technical issues, and finally, when the time came, at the end of the design, I found out that I would have to go and talk to the vice principal of the school about our idea. Now I was kind of nervous about this. I mean, none of the teachers could come with me, and I couldn't meet with him a different time because I was moving to Germany in a week. So, I went into his office, and I told him all about the idea. And by the time I finished, he said yes. He was interested in the idea. That was confidence. You always have to have confidence to complete your idea. So, moving on, I came to Bonn, and it took me a month or two, but I got a team assembled with Miss Lockwood here in the back. She helped me out with the project a lot. She kind of helped me manage it on this side, and we got some question sheets set up, and we ended up having 3 sessions. Not only that, but on the last session, it was attended by the superintendent of Westerville City Schools, which is a pretty big deal. And they asked me to do it again this year. So those were 2 of my own ideas that were accomplished pretty well. Now, who's been thinking about an idea during this talk? Raise your hand. Okay. So, first, I'd like to call on you in the BIS room.
Well, my idea is there's this hologram projector inside a helmet to give you a heads-up display for like important information you need.
Okay, so with this idea, it's more of a science fiction kind, but you can still do it. You'd have to do the research, quite frankly. The first step would be pretty simple. I don't think it exists. It's pretty low on that, unless it's some secret thing. The next part you would complete with this is maybe looking into how a hologram works. Maybe the kind of helmet. I mean, I don't think you'd want one that big. Probably wouldn't fit on your head. And then the next part would probably be getting support. Maybe looking into people who know a little bit about holograms and helmets. Maybe even someone who's a sci-fi writer or something. That'd be interesting. Okay, now raise your hand one more time. One more idea? Anyone? Okay. Well, thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the talk.